And a saving play by Justin Morrow on the back line. Now drive by. Shall be heard. Goal! Impact. 3-0 Impact.
Yes. Hopefully a few of those tomorrow. That, of course, the incomparable Rick Moffat on the Impact broadcast. Impact will be on TSN 690 tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Rick Moffat and Grant Needham with the pregame at 3 o'clock. Big game for the Montreal Impact as they try and secure a home playoff game. Wouldn't that be nice? Meanwhile, the Alouettes with Sean Campbell on the call today from Saskatchewan as Vernon Adams Jr. getting the start behind center. We'll talk both Alouettes and Impact with Mr. Rick Moffat from the morning show. How you doing, Rick?
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on your new show. Congratulations.
Well, thanks so much, and thanks for coming on. Weekends you're supposed to be able to sleep in, right?
Well, you know what? It's not quite game day for me. It is for Campbell, as you mentioned, who's graciously agreed to head out to Regina while Grant Needham and I will travel with the Impact this afternoon down to Foxborough and get ready for tomorrow afternoon's game. But you're right. I think Impact fans deserve a home playoff date, and it would take an awful lot. It's the combination of an Impact win and a DC United loss. Coach Biello has said, hey, he's going to rest some of his starters, not all of them, but the emphasis is being ready and rested for a potential playoff game. Well, they know it's a knockout playoff game. The potential is to have it at home, but they know perhaps more likely to be traveling on the road right down to Washington on Wednesday or Thursday night. We expect the confirmation of the playoff date to come by the end of the night.
Dave Trentadue.
Rick, how are the Impact going to contain Kei Kamara? He's been a thorn in their side. I mean, I think he scored something like 7 goals in the last 5 games. Do they have a plan for him?
Oh, they have a plan. They just haven't been able to execute it all season long. He haunted them when he was a member of the Columbus Crew. He was a victim of his own success earlier in the season when he had the shot at a hat trick. If only his teammate with then Columbus Crew, Federico Higuaín, would let him take the penalty kick that the Crew had earned in the second half. Higuaín insisted on taking it. They had a hissy fit on the field, and Grant Needham and I said at that point during the game, there's something about the way the Impact had reacted after Kei Kamara had scored against them. There was a play where Victor Cabrera was beaten badly in added time right before the halftime break, and Impact players had rallied around Cabrera, and it really exhibited the team spirit on Montreal. Whereas now up 4-1 after Higuaín buried the penalty shot, he and Kamara go at each other. The coach became involved in the sideline spat, and in the post-game comments, it was clear that Kamara was intent on forcing a trade. Ironically, the Impact kind of kicked the tires on acquiring Kei Kamara, but you know what? I think, truth be told, Matteo Mancosu was already on the radar for the Montreal Impact, and what a great addition he has been. So Kamara moves to New England, and he's still found success against them, and it's in part because teams play to his strengths. That is, send him into the box and get him crosses, and he's so amazing getting airborne and getting header duels won and getting balls past keepers. And so that's the way he's scored against the Montreal Impact. That's been their one weakness. Victor Cabrera and Laurent Simon are very able defenders. Even Simon, who's not having a career year, was defender of the year last year. Even in what for him is a subpar year, he's solid, but they just don't have the size to match Kamara. And that's what makes him so amazing in MLS, is his combination of size, but his ability to get airborne.
We're chatting with Rick Moffat here on Weekend Game Plan with Matthew Ross. The Impact in action tomorrow, 4 o'clock start, 3 o'clock pregame. Rick Moffat and Grant Needham on the call from New England. Rick, you mentioned some players will be rested. Who do you expect to get that extra time? Who's going to benefit from it and make the most of it?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see, look, the Impact have lots of starters on the north side of 30+. And in recent weeks, Marco Donadel has carried a workload. I wonder if they might rest Laurent Simon. Hassoun Kamara could probably use some rest. And up top, Dominic Oduro has been on such a roll. It would be interesting to see if they'll start him. I know he'll want to be in the starting lineup. He's best friends in soccer with Kai Kamara, and they've got a wonderful on and off the pitch friendship and rivalry that's always fun to follow on social media. But I would say Simon Donadel, probably Bernier, Matteo Mancasu. It's going to be interesting because he came to the Impact mid-season, and he and Didier Drogba have been back and forth, sharing the time up top as the lone striker. We don't expect Drogba to play because of the nagging back trouble, whether that's also compounded by the after effects of the drama and the presumed peace plan that was declared this week between the Impact and Didier. I do believe Didier will have a role in the playoffs, but it would be surprising to see him play as soon as tomorrow in New England. So some of the youngsters who might benefit from that, rookie Michael Salazar, Anthony Jackson-Amel, the homegrown talent who got in briefly into the last game and has to prove that even if he's only coming in off the subs list, he can do what Drogba does tactically anyway, and that is get forward and hold the ball in the opponent's end. So if the Impact have a lead in the last 15 to 20 minutes of a game, they're not just constantly scrambling and playing anxious defense and kicking the ball out to midfield, that they can hang on to the ball and take it deep into the opponent's end.
Chatting with Rick Moffat here on TSN 690. Rick, let's switch over to the Alouettes. A meaningless game, maybe not, as Vernon Adams Jr. gets to start. I've been waiting for this for a few weeks now as we've seen the paltry offensive numbers continue for the Alouettes. How excited are you to see what he's got? And from your information and being around the team, what do you expect from Vernon Adams Jr.?
Yeah, as much as I thought Rakeem Cato was an intriguing talent that had an incredible college career at Marshall, Vernon Adams Jr. is a guy that teammates and anyone familiar with the Oregon college football program is really excited about. And some fans have been, on me all season long via social media that Vernon Adams is really the guy who by the end of the season will prove himself to be the next one. That's an awful lot of pressure, but at least the pressure of the playoff race is gone now. And I think in some ways that's a healthy thing. The Impact, look, the Alouettes, it would have been nice to think they could run the table. We hope the Impact might have got on a late season run of the table. But the reality is for the Montreal Alouettes, this game and their two remaining games after this weekend in Saskatchewan are about building hope for 2017. Jacques Chapdelaine certainly seems to be operating like he's going to be back as the head coach. And my gut tells me that's how the Alouettes management will play it. So now Vernon Adams has potentially 3 weeks to put down a body of work to face that steep learning curve. Hey, and let's not forget, Rakeem Cato in his first CFL start looked like a polished veteran and upset the Calgary Stampeders just last summer. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that Vernon Adams steps in. They tweak the game plan to play to his strengths. I think he's a better scrambler than Rakeem Cato. He should be a little stronger in the pocket when there's pressure around him. And he's got some receivers who've been really diligent. Duron Carter and Kenny Stafford let go. That was a controversial move this week by the Alouettes, one where Jacques Chapdelaine signals he's not going to be a lame duck interim head coach. He's really going to play this like assuming he's coming back next year and do it his way or the highway. And now Tequan Underwood and Marcus Henry have opportunities to step up as well. And these are not kids. These are 29 and 30-year-olds who've been around the NFL block. They've had a taste of CFL, and I expect them to fit in quite nicely with Vernon Adams.
He is Rick Moffat. Again, you can hear him tomorrow on the Impact broadcast. Pregame time, 3 p.m. 4 o'clock is... Well, now, Rick, we don't say kickoff. First kick, first touch? What do you usually say?
Yeah, it's funny. You know what? I got in the habit of saying first kick or first touch, and some soccer fans were on me saying, no, you can say kickoff, and so we can go with that.
All right. So kickoff tomorrow just after 4 o'clock, and then I would assume you're back on the morning show Tuesday, correct?
Yeah, and hey, and you know what? Since we are at Foxborough, right, it feels right. It's kind of fun to see an MLS tailgate party.
Ooh.
The food is a little more up the food chain, a little more, international flair than just your typical Patriots tailgate party out in the parking lots around Foxborough and Gillette Stadium. But it's really fun, and it's always a kick. We've got to walk by the entrance, the players' entrance, and the administration office entrance of the Patriots to get in through our security gate to get into the TSN 690 broadcast booth at Foxborough, and it's always impressive. They've got silver plaques for each Super Bowl championship on the wall outside the stadium, and so it's always an impressive venue, even for an MLS game.
I would put on a Revolution shirt and try and go snag a sausage there or something.
You know what? I think Grant Needham's probably up for mooching some food at a tailgate. We've done it. We had the opportunity to do it on the road last season when we were traveling with the Impact to San Jose. We weren't so very far away from the Santa Clara home of the 49ers. And, Grant proved pretty expert at playing the mooch at a tailgate party.
Enjoy the game tomorrow, Rick. Thanks.
Thanks, boys.
All right, there you go. That's Rick Moffat from the morning show here on TSN 690. Again, Impact in action, 3 o'clock pregame tomorrow. We have Alouettes. That's on CJAD 800, however. Sean Campbell and Davis Sanchez. That broadcast today at 4 o'clock from Saskatchewan.